Part 3, Harmonizing Bonds. Welcome to the third part of our journey in enhancing relationships and deepening connections. In this segment, we dive into the intricate dance of mutual growth, where relationships become a harmonious collaboration for both partners, whether it's friendship, family ties, romantic connections, or passionate relationships. The principles we explore here are universally applicable. Understanding mutual growth. Mutual growth involves recognizing that as individuals evolve, so does the relationship. It's a dynamic process where both partners contribute to each other's progress, creating a space for continuous learning and development. This mutual dance requires open communication, shared goals, and a commitment to supporting one another's aspirations. Now, what would be the key elements to creating harmonious bonds? For one, we have shared vision and goals, as this would establish a shared vision for your relationship's future, while outlining common goals that align with each other's individual aspirations. For number 2, we have open communication. Cultivate a communication style that encourages openness and vulnerability. Create a safe space for expressing dreams, fears, and personal ambitions. And for 3, we have supportive dynamic. Recognize the importance of being each other's cheerleader. Explore ways to actively support and contribute to each other's personal development. So when we think about how is it that we harmonize bonds and not thinking so much of a self-indulgence, but rather in a more selfishless manner, where we understand the value of setting our own boundaries, learning how to love ourselves properly with self-care, and having standards that maintain the right environment for our mental and physical and spiritual hygiene. But when we come and build that level of the foundation, and we are fully equipped in ourselves, fully capable of doing that for ourselves, where we are now whole and full within our own essence and our own presence in the things that we want and don't want, when we know who we are and what we need and what our preferences are, building bonds with others becomes a lot easier because we're coming from a full place ourselves, because we've done enough work to make sure that we are not overstepping or overgiving much of ourselves, but while maintaining a healthy and balanced environment for not only ourselves, but those around us that will be affected by our relationships or connections or bonds and so on. So when we come and think about ways to maybe practices for harmonizing bonds, one way would be, an example would be regular check-ins. Schedule regular check-ins to discuss individual goals and progress. Use these moments to realign shared visions and celebrate milestones. So when it comes to harmonizing bonds, and like I said, this can come from relationships to platonic to family ties, it is important that we know where people stand in our life according to who they choose to be in their life, as everyone is in their own journey, in their own stage of their courses for their own lessons and their own experiences that was preferred by the soul. So it is not in our position or in our right to judge or criticize where we believe someone should be. But what we do have control over is where do we place each and every individual in our life in accordance to who they are, right? Because it's not to discriminate against them, but rather to understand that I would prefer to be here in my life And anything that takes me away from that goal, from that path, would obviously mean that they are not in alignment with me. And when we do the work to choose ourselves first, because we love ourselves enough to set those standards and place those boundaries that are necessary to maintain the course of our actions and our dreams and our goals, we have to understand who to keep around our proximity and who to keep in a distance. And based on that correlation and that self-awareness of self and preference, regular check-ins with those that we are choosing to maintain a more solid or close relationship with is an ideal practice, because it is a recognition or a sense of validation or appreciation for who they are and their presence in our life that we are doing these practices for. Because we are thinking to ourselves, this is where I want to be. These are the right people that I need in my proximity to maintain that goal, to cultivate that dream, and to have the vision, a shared vision with someone else, to see the vision that I see for myself. So when it comes to those individuals, having, let's say, even an accountability partner that's completely platonic also helps when we are building ourselves up and stepping into our full potential and stepping into the true meaning of self-mastery. To have an accountability partner, for example, always helps us keep accountable to what we are pursuing. An example, this is like you both have a goal and a opportunity or financial opportunity of some sort. You're maintaining accountability with each other by checking in on each other. Hey, did you handle that paperwork you had to settle in? Or, just checking in. Oh, how you feeling today? Oh, did you take the vitamin C I was suggesting yesterday? Very subtle but meaningful and important conversations that actually enhance us, conversations that actually challenge us to go forward and become better and do better, because we have the individuals around us in our proximity that are only enhancing that intention in our being, in our becoming. Which brings us into the next one of collaborative planning. Engage in joint planning sessions for the future. Discuss how individual aspirations complement and enrich shared journeys. Because, yes, we can do it all alone, but it's also a lot more enjoyable when we have complementary individuals in our life that enhance and enrich those experiences that we are having, especially when we have the same mindset, the same goals, the same vision. It brings a enhancement in even the planning of such goals and visions and dreams, because we are collaborating with like-minded individuals to enhance that potential. Now, when we have these collaborations, these connections, these bonds, it is important that we also practice, which is the next one here, constructive feedback. Learn to provide constructive feedback that fosters growth. Enhance feedback as a tool for reinforcement and enhancement. So, because we have the same vision, for example, the same dream, the same mindset, we understand the value of constructive feedback. We are not living, when we are in this energy, we are not living in the energy of ego where you're, to hear any advice or criticism fragments your ego or puts you in a position where you think you know it all and you're not willing to accept any form of feedback. It is, of course, your discernment to always read through the lines of any form of constructive criticism or feedback or judgment or advice, because it is your experience. But when you have individuals in your life that you respect, that you honor, that you trust, it becomes a lot more effortless to receive this feedback because you understand where they're coming from, you see their intentions, and you respect and trust them enough to even put value on their judgment and their opinion. As opposed to, let's say, someone that you don't respect and you don't trust, and you think that their intentions are not in alignment with your pursuits, and you believe that their feedback or criticism or advice is coming from a place of lack, is coming from a place that does not see the vision I have, that's going to maybe project insecurities and fears and all of these things that are not going to serve me, then here it wouldn't be a suitable thing to receive constructive feedback from individuals that you feel that way about. In fact, you should be very limited about individuals that you don't respect and trust and feel that sense of safety with, because that means there is not a effortless alignment in your pursuit, in who you are and where you want to be in the future. So you have to be very aware of yourself and your surroundings, but also how you feel when you receive certain feedbacks from the individuals that you do, and learning who to accept feedback from and who not to. And it is not to not listen to it. You can receive it, you can hear it out, but would you value it? Would you validate it? Would you receive it with an open option? Maybe not. But when you do trust and honor and respect someone, and they're going in the same direction that you want to go, and they have the same vision, and they have this level of enthusiasm and encouragement that you need, that feeds your soul instead of depletes it, those are the individuals that you want to keep closer when you're pursuing any goals, any dreams, or any form of transformation. Moving on to the next one, which is shared learning experiences. Like I was saying before, when you have people with the same vision, it becomes easier to embark on learning journeys together, whether through courses and workshops or shared hobbies. You use these experiences to bond and discover new dimensions of each other, because through knowing more of yourself, you align better with those around you that would be a perfect match for your endeavors, for your hobbies, for your interests, right? And you can open more of yourself by doing it with another individual that's now going to expand that intention for something further. And an example of this would be, I remember when I first started my whole journey, and my intention was I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to expand more on my health by trying new things. And this is before I started doing yoga. I would work out here and there, but I wasn't as active as I should have been. And I was already getting over like the whole going out and party scene and drinking and stuff. And I wanted to completely change that, because I knew that it is not serving me in the long run. It was not doing my body good. It was not going to serve me long term. So I knew I needed a change. And when I realized that I needed that change, I placed that intention. And once I placed that intention, I started changing my habits, small steps at a time. But I started changing them. I started introducing myself to new knowledge, new books. I started incorporating new remedies and fitnesses, and introducing yoga into my life, which I had never done, and I ended up loving it. And when I started doing that, all of a sudden I started aligning myself with individuals that were into the same thing, and they started introducing me into ways to eat healthier, and how this is better than this, and how eating meat is not that great for you. And then that's when I started, decreasing my meat intake, and I started becoming a pescatarian at that time. I am now a vegetarian, but at that time I just transitioned from removing all red meat to only eating chicken and fish, and then I removed the chicken, and then I went into only pescatarian, seafood and vegetables, and then completely eliminating all animal, at least solids. I do eat egg and I do eat cheese, so that's why I'm a vegetarian. But it took for me to first place that intention and be okay with doing it all on my own, so that by me doing it on my own, I introduce myself to the environments and the places and the things that are going to now enhance the probabilities of meeting people that are more in alignment with those things. Therefore, having companionships to join me, to go to the gym, to do yoga, to meditate at the top of a mountain, to go hiking, right? Because I was now introducing myself to being more active in nature, which I immediately felt the difference. But had I not put that intention and been okay with doing it on my own first, so that I can meet the right people and align myself with the right hobbies that would introduce me to expanding to where I am today, I would have never reached this goal, at least not as fast as I did. And that completely changed everything, because I reached all my goals as I was placing them. It was like, okay, all I said is place the intention and just do the actions that's going to get you there. And on that journey, you're going to align with the right people. You're going to align with the right knowledge and the information that you need. And everything is just going to flow. But it is also great and very enriching when you have individuals to share that very same experience with. Bringing us into the dance of mutual growth. Imagine your relationships as a dance where each step contributes to the beauty of the whole. As you both grow and evolve, the dance becomes a harmonious expression of shared aspirations and individual development. Embrace the fluidity of this dance and let it be a source of inspiration and connection. Bringing us into the conclusion. In this part of the journey, you've explored the art of harmonious bonds for mutual growth, whether in friendships, family, loved ones, or passionate connections. The principle holds true. As you continue this dance, remember that the beauty lies in the shared steps. As the individual flourishes and the harmonious rhythm you create together grows more fonder. May your relationships be a dance of continuous growth and deepening connection. And for the question of the lesson that we would participate and share in our community would be, what has this lesson on enhancing relationships and connections motivated you to do with your connections? We would love to see and hear about your feedback and your experience and how this has enhanced your relationships, as well as the possible challenges that may occur while doing this practice during these lessons. As I like to give a nice disclaimer of potential possibilities that can be challenging during each and every lesson. Here we have the first one being communication barriers, with the challenge being misunderstandings, lack of effective communication, or differences in communication style can hinder relationship growth. A solution would be to prioritize active listening, clarify intentions, and cultivate open and honest communication. For number 2, we have unresolved conflict, which brings the challenge of unresolved conflict from the past may resurface, creating tension and hindering the development of healthy connections. A solution for this would be to address conflict promptly, seek compromise, and consider professional mediation if needed. For number 3, we have establishing boundaries, which brings the challenge of striking a balance between closeness and maintaining personal boundaries can be challenging. A solution for this would be to communicate boundaries clearly, respect others' boundaries, and revisit them as relationships evolve. For number 4, we have trust issues as a challenge of Past betrayals or experiences can lead to trust issues, impacting the ability to build and sustain trust in a new relationships. Solution for this would be foster transparency, demonstrate reliability, and give trust time to develop gradually. And for number 5, we have different expectations, which brings the challenge of misaligned expectations between individuals can lead to disappointment and frustration. A solution for this would be to discuss expectations openly, set realistic goals, and be willing to adjust expectations as relationships evolve. For number 6, we have time constraints. As the challenges of busy schedules and competing priorities may limit the time available for nurturing relationships. The solution for this would be to prioritize quality over quantity, schedule dedicated time, and find ways to connect even in small moments. For number 7, we have fear of vulnerability. As the challenge for this would be fear of being vulnerable or fear of rejection may hinder authentic expression and connection. Bringing the solution for this would be gradually build trust, share feelings openly, and create a safe space for vulnerability. For number 8, we have cultural differences. Cultural nuances and differences in values and traditions can create misunderstandings. The solution for this would be to foster cultural awareness, engage in open dialogue, and approach differences with curiosity and respect. And for number 9, we have a lack of empathy. Difficulty empathizing with others' perspective can strain relationships. The solution for this would be to practice active listening, seek to understand diverse viewpoints, and cultivate empathy through shared experiences. And for number 10, which is our last, would be self-discovery changes dynamic. The challenge with this would be personal growth and self-discovery may lead to changes in dynamics that some individuals might find unsettling. The solution for this would be to communicate openly about personal growth, express evolving needs, and encourage mutual growth. So, with that being said, and getting to these possible challenges that may occur, in the following pages is just a little of the background of my information, as well as our social that you can always find and follow and support our channel so that we can grow and evolve and find more appealing and like-minded individuals to share this experience with you.